We always have to let them catch up. Uh, God, I'm gonna make that joke every single time. Anyway, welcome back. By the way, the name of the show is officially Building Public University. Um, Realized for the last couple days I haven't actually been explicit with that. And that's partially because I wasn't sure exactly what brand to do this live stream under. So, in case you're not familiar, I've got a lot of different brands that I've been building out over the years, and um, basically, it's ways that I segment different parts of what I'm talking about. And so, with Building Public University, the whole goal of it is to really showcase exactly um, what I'm doing and talking about why I'm doing it. I spent the last 5 or so years at this point exploring the internet from all sorts of different angles. I've been really diving into the creator economy and understanding everything there. I've been, writing a ton online. I've been making YouTube videos. I've done a podcast. I've kind of done all the things. And I've been in the startup tech indie hacker world, and I've launched products and failed and launched more products and failed some more and launched even more products. And it's an interesting blend to see all of these different worlds, because one of the things that I've realized lately is that most people don't see this many different worlds. I tend to be in a bunch of different networks simultaneously. I see the world from a lot of different angles. And that's something that most people don't, because of the fact that they're on these single algorithm platforms. And this is a lot of the idea behind Make the Internet Weird Again. When we're trying to make the internet weird, what we're doing is we're making it human. We're allowing humans to express themselves in ways that are not forced by algorithmic pressure. So we have to understand the incentives at play. And basically, we come down to two different groups wanting exponential results. You've got the builders of the technical platform, the startup, who is building out a network layer that has some sort of monetization function that makes the value of their ownership of the company go up. That's the startup exponential value cycle. With creators in the creator economy, the exponential value cycle is different. It goes distribution. As you get more distribution, you're able to just basically more easily sell. Distribution is a proxy for trust, in the same way that you use sales as an idea of your trust in the market as a business. Now, we actually have some really weird things happening here, because we've got two different incentives um, that have the same structure but are based on different things. Then we're going to complicate this, because we're going to throw a bunch of people in who have no idea about the incentive structures, and they're just there trying to get news, or they're trying to make friends, or they're trying to do whatever. And we're trying to force all of this traffic through a single network, through a single distribution channel, and that is incredibly unhealthy. It's incredibly unhealthy because it's easily fuckwithable. And basically, anytime there's kind of a single information stream, it's very, very easy to poison said stream with bad incentives. And it's not a matter of maliciousness, even in most cases. In some cases, sure, people are dicks. But in most cases, it's a matter of systems that create adversarial incentives. And when this happens, it's typically because there is a system that has participants that are not included in the pricing mechanisms or the value creation of a system. And we're doing this because it's really hard to understand exactly uh, what happens as systems interact, right? As we get more and more complex, we have to think of people in terms of data sets and numbers and things like that. And that is a way that we can reason about what we're doing and build things out, but we don't see the downstream effects. And a lot of times we're not held responsible for the downstream effects. And this is getting to be problematic with these very large complex systems that are having outsized effects on, let's say, world politics, for lack of a better example. Um, or for lack of a more terrifying example, maybe. I'm not sure which that is. Um, but I think there are different ways that we can do um, some pretty cool things to disrupt some of these single information flows. And this is one of the goals of the Make the Internet Weird Again campaign. What I want to do is I want to intentionally distort people's views of reality so that they understand how easily it can be done and how to prevent it. That's kind of the ultimate goal here. Um, a lot of people are doing this and not being transparent with it, um, which is really interesting because, sometimes when you talk about things openly and you talk about experimentation and things like this, um, it's a good way to open yourself up to criticism from people who don't try to understand what you're doing, for people who are chasing different incentives. And a lot of status structures, especially, are built on tearing others down. And when you are being transparent with what you're doing, with the experiments you're running, um, that does potentially open you up. But I think the key is when you build a strong community, you don't actually need to worry too much about that because your community has your back. And that's something that I want to give people. I want to help people find the right community for them. As I've started to find the right communities online, it's amazing how much of a difference it makes. Also, I should try to be more proactive about doing things like sharing this with people who have expressed interest in it, because that's what good streamers do. Um, I am still training myself how to be a good streamer. Boom, there we go. All right. Now I have notified people. I should probably also tweet about it. I don't know. Does it show me? There we go. Talking about Make the Internet Weird. Let's get weird. All right, awesome. Okay, beautiful. And I will go ahead and share my screen. And we can actually probably just share that window. Boom. Excellent. That looks right. Okay. So what am I doing here? Okay, so basically I was looking on Twitter, as one does, um, and thinking about what I wanted to talk about today. And I saw this thread of someone showing um, a viral thread and kind of why it went viral. And so I kind of pulled some of the pieces from the thread here. Um, and then a couple of the images that were included. And so if we blow that up there, so this is kind of the viral image hook um, that the dude shared. Um, and kind of here's another image with some more information, and then he had information about why his analysis said that it went viral. And then because this is kind of a weird project at this point with Glitch kind of running things. So we're trying to kind of, I basically said, let's try to come up with some sort of content strategy for writing hooks to pull from some of these ideas. And so we've got some strategy and tactics here going on. Also a value system, which is kind of cool. Okay, phone, stop doing shit. Cool. Yes, thank you. All right, and so okay, let's. Oh, it's got. What do we have going on here? Is this the? This is okay. This is kind of interesting. Like, I haven't seen this before. I don't. Now we've got some meme formats. Holy shit! This is awesome. Iconic weird successes. How is I don't know if this is new or if I just have never noticed the analysis button because I'm always too busy bouncing around between all sorts of different things. Oh damn, I love this. Yeah, hold on. Let's expand this shit. Okay. And so I'm trying to figure out why it's in this like so it's JSON, but it's like the thinking is the comments, and then it just like outputs the variables? This is bizarre. Okay, well, this is not the weird I was expecting. Sorry, you were seeing me astonished real time. Yeah, I don't actually like logging out console results. It's like it's kind of magic at that point, I guess. Like it's really weird JavaScript. It's not JavaScript. It's like it is Club thinking in JavaScript now. That's kind of cool. I don't know. Okay, well. Anyway, we I love these core emotional hooks. Okay, wow. So this is perfect. And yeah, this is what I'm going for. Weird is valuable. Um, Strange stands out. Okay. Okay, so we've got some like tactical implementations here going on. Let's see. So weird credentials, pattern interrupt challenge. I actually like this. I think I am going to start trying to. That might be a good blue sky project. I've been looking for things. Well, honestly, I would love to do it on Twitter, but Twitter's kind of becoming a shithole right now. It's really hard to get cool stuff seen, I think. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just bad at it. Or maybe the algorithm hates me because I hate the algorithm. I don't know. Maybe it's both. Um, or maybe it actually understands that I'm trying to take it down and it is intentionally suppressing me. I don't think that's the case, but yeah, I like the pattern interrupt challenge. And so to kind of continue that thought on like the Blue Sky account, I think that would be a fun thing to create an account that basically does nothing but these unhinged like pattern interrupt threads where it starts off with something like normal and catchy and a hook, maybe even one that people are super familiar with. Maybe that's what I should shoot for. And have it just be like, I could set a variation like as it goes down through the thread. So if you have a famous thread of like 10 tweets, the first tweet is exactly the same. And then like the second tweet is 10% different. And then the next one is 20% different from like, and then so you can kind of like go down. And by the end, you're like into some completely crazy mixed up universe or something. Yeah, that would be fun, I think. And let's see. Okay. I actually should do this. I should make some weird format toolkits. Oh, weird time events. Oh, damn, I love that. Cross-pollination networks is something I've actually been exploring a lot about. Because I've been thinking about it in terms of friends and how friends interact and how friends communicate. And when you start looking at networks of friends, it's a much wider network of people than any one individual has because they go through many different networks. Each person is involved in different networks, right? And so one of the things that I've been kind of basing this whole Make the Internet Weird Again campaign on is this idea of friendship being predictable for humans the way algorithms are predictable for computers and companies. And I actually think it's more valuable. I was actually thinking today too. I was like, it's really kind of fucked up that we've built these systems where the transaction cost is zero and called them companies. And now we're in a situation where people are so crunched as individuals, they are, getting into fights with their friends over, who pays for what. And you see it all the time online. You see people arguing about, oh, well, I think it should be split the cost, whatever. And that's fucking backwards, man. Like, count the transactions up in a business that is owning your time and fucking don't don't make your friends pay for shit. Like, this whole world is fucked up and it's like, oh, we can't make friends. Right, you can't make friends because you've got companies that are trying to make you feel like they're your friends by not making you pay for the free snacks. But as a result, they're crushing your fucking soul. And then you've got, people like the result of that ends up being people getting mad at their friends who aren't pitching in for snacks, right? How fucked up is that? All right. So that's what we're using the weirdness to disrupt, right? And this is the goal of the Austin operation next week. So anyone who's not familiar, there's a neurodiversity conference next week called Neurodiversion, I believe, in Austin, Texas. I am attending with a group of friends, and we're basically going to be doing some street team style marketing at this conference to kind of launch this new idea of friendship. And there are some things in the works. One of the things that I am going to play with, I think, is a social network where none of the communication happens online. Instead, you're going to have different friends with different communication preferences. And we're going to create these chains of communication to see how far things can spread when you can't actually see the whole network. And I think that's going to be particularly interesting because it's going to, ideally, it's going to spark some interesting reactions as we start to coordinate across different subnetworks with allowing friends to communicate and coordinate and things like that. And so what I want to do with this is basically bring in brand sponsorships and bring in marketing dollars and put these into these friendship networks where we set up basically quests and goals and let groups of people figure out how that works. And I'm actually really confident in this idea because I've played a lot of video games. And guess what? I have seen fucking guilds organize themselves fucking incredibly hardcore to go after some shared objective. And they're doing it while spending like fucking thousands of dollars. That was the most insane online game experience I had, where I got into that fucking Game of War Fire Age. I got sucked into one of these big ass clans where they are spending fucking way more money than I had at the time, and I ended up participating in something that lost me like $100 worth of fucking units in like a minute, and I was just like, yeah, fuck this. I am done with this game. What is this shit? But like the people were real, right? The coordination was real. The shared goal was real. And so what if we take that and instead of trying to make it an imaginary game where people are pouring money in for the ability to have a place to communicate and coordinate and practice those skills, what if we actually just let people do it in the real world and actually paid them for it, because companies are fucking not paying people enough right now. They are incredibly inefficient, giant monstrosity, artificial intelligent organisms. And that's what we have to start realizing. Like, we have to start thinking of them that way because that's how they behave. And yeah, they have kind of a leader, but anymore they are like, companies are memes now. Like, you have to understand your company as a meme. Your brand is a meme. And one of the things I want to do with this is by helping people figure out their weird, that's their brand meme. From that brand meme, you can extract a brand. And this is kind of what I've done, right? And so building public university, the meme was building in public. This is the meme that I latched onto early on. I saw Copy AI doing it, Paul, and I saw it accelerate the growth of Copy AI, and that was what attracted me to Copy AI. The product and the company, because they're building in public, they're being transparent, and I think that's huge. And what I've realized is that people have taken building in public different ways now. They um, don't they don't tend to understand what it is they're building in public for. And I have a YouTube video on this idea supply chain, um, which actually, let's talk about that for a minute. Idea supply chain, where ideas come from, what makes them valuable. With Building Public University, this is where the ideas come from. This is the start of the supply chain, and I am broadcasting them. And these ideas have been hard earned, mined from a lot of experience and a lot of failure and just a lot. It has been a very long 4 or 5 years for me, but an incredibly powerful, transformational set of years. And, that's what building in public does, because it was shitty for marketing. The people I was talking about building with weren't my audience. You get some weird mimetic pressures. You want to build for other people building in public. You tend to overly focus on a single platform. Um, but it helps you share your ideas, which is cool. It helps you show progress. And when I was doing it, I always thought about doing it for the people coming up behind me, because one of the things with kind of cultural memes, we have to understand that, like, it's our job as humans to revalidate the cultural memes that we have so that we can pass on the good ones and stop the bad ones. This is the power all of us have. I want to start the good meme of make the internet weird again. Um, because there's this bad meme where we're trying to over optimize on speed of learning and not on speed of understanding. Those two things are very, very different. Speed of learning, speed of learning gets you to the point where you can do something. Speed of understanding is what happens after you do the thing. Like understanding the consequences, the risks. It's great to move fast in a lot of ways. And as an individual, it's great to move fast. But the bigger the thing that we're trying to accomplish, the more we have to slow down and make sure that we're able to um, understand what the consequences of these actions are. And because all of these companies are focused so much on learning as fast as they can, they're not thinking of the downstream consequences because it doesn't incentivize them to. They're learning faster than everybody else, and the economy has prioritized learning faster than everybody else. The grand irony of all this is that now you've got companies pouring billions and billions of dollars into something that ends up giving them about a week advantage, maybe not even that. Because basically, once you release a new model, it's relatively trivial to train a version of that model that is almost exactly as powerful, but for way less. And so anything you do now can basically be copied essentially immediately. And so when you're trying to learn at full speed and not understand things, you're going to burn yourself out. understanding requires reflection. You have to sit with ideas. You have to let your mind wander. You have to understand how different things play together, and just nothing in the world right now allows anybody to slow down. Um, unless you make it out of the rat race, unless you get out of the economy. And that's why it's broken. You shouldn't have to escape the fucking economy. It should just work. God, people have fucked it up so bad, and we're gonna fix that, all right? All right, we got Lobo in the house. Excellent. Here we fucking go. Now we're ready to get going. And see, look at me. Now show a message on the screen like a pro. Fuck yeah. That's how it's done. All right. Yeah, so let's see. All right, cool. Anyway, yeah, so building in public, I think, is really good for some things, but kind of harmful for others. And ultimately, I think building in public is a great way to train the like autonomous mimetic marketing systems that I was talking about yesterday, basically. The memes that market themselves, aka glitch. So yeah, I think we're going to figure out a way to make that happen too. But here we go. So sustain the weird is interesting too. So to fill you in, Lobao, and anyone else who has joined since, basically I was doing some looking at some hooks and trying to figure out ways to really tie some good marketing hooks into this whole make the internet weird again campaign. And so we've got some things here. It started thinking in JavaScript, kind of. That was a weird moment. And we got some tactical implementations here. Yeah, I think I like this one. I was talking earlier about a way to maybe set up a Blue Sky account or something that has like threads that start off with everything that you see, 10 ways to optimize your content, but then just go fucking unhinged by the end. That would be cool. A weird badge system. That could be interesting. I kind of like that as like, see, this is the thing that NFTs tried to be, but like the problem is, as soon as you financialize it, it fucking sucks because like the financialization of things is taking the magic out of them. The Make the Internet Weird Again campaign is saying that the value is in the weird. And so it's a very different way of looking at things because, in this case, I really want people to stand out and find their specific weirdness that is what they can bring to the world in their full self. Like that's what we need to get to. And so I think I like the idea of individualized data collection that is monetized after the fact. We make the monetization predictable, and that's the problem. What we need to do is make the systems predictable for humans, and then the profits will come for them like by themselves. People have to understand what's valuable in the shit that they're doing. They have to understand what impact they are making. Also, I am up to 3 live viewers on YouTube right now, which is a new record, I think. So that is phenomenal. We're going global here. This is awesome. Let's fucking do this. If you're not part of the Make the Internet Weird Again campaign, you should totally do that at, maybe not in all caps though, make the internet weird again.com. Made it really hard, but it's there. And yeah, pick your class. This is something I'm doing mostly for tracking purposes, which I'm totally, upfront about. But I'm tracking way less than most people in this case, and I'm doing it for the sake of making it value for the people on the email list. So, when you sign up, you get quests, and the quests are designed to fulfill marketing goals. Um, but whatever that looks like ends up being kind of up to you. And so as this grows, we can do larger and larger coordinated, unhinged things together, and it'll be fun. Um, and so once you sign up there, you basically there's like three classes that I'm looking at, so there's the builder class. These are the people who are vibe coding. They're building things with AI. They maybe they are just regular software engineers who aren't touching AI. It doesn't actually matter. People who identify as builders, they know who they are. Then we've got the creators. These are the artsy fartsy folks, the hippies, the whatever, but however you want to call it, like the creatives, right? And then we've got the connectors, the people, who make connections between networks. Ultimately, like those are the three classes that I think are really all you need to worry about online, because everything else is derived from those three things. Um, like building something is doing something from like 1 to 100, right? It's taking something that you know how to do and doing it in pursuit of a project that has a final goal. Creativity is more of a divergent, you don't actually know where you're going to end up, but you're going to get there eventually. And then the connectors are the people who make sure that those two groups can communicate, because a lot of times they fucking hate each other because they're diametrically opposed in their processes, goals, and pretty much everything. Also, once you realize that all of those people are now in my head, it's a very busy place, and lots of things are constantly happening in there, and sometimes things get lost. But overall, we're doing pretty well. Um, all right. Let's see. So I do need the weird format toolkits for people. That's something that I need to keep in mind. Um, I do like this too. Archives and Museums of Digital Weirdness. It's also, I'm gonna say, it's weird and not in a good way, that I'm starting to have a very difficult time predicting how Claude will respond in a given prompt, even in this project. Um, when I first created Glitch in kind of that initial chat, um, and was able to kind of create that persona, it was kind of there by default. And then suddenly it was definitely not there by default, and I could still get it there with prompting. Um, but uh, now it's kind of there. And like, I think I probably need to do some tweaking on the project prompt here, if I had to guess. I'm noticing that is starting to um, be a uh, damn it, lost what I was talking about. Anyway, whatever I was saying, remember that, because I don't. See, this is the problem with streaming for me so far. I see a comment and I'm like, yes, fun is amazing. It should be the word that solves so much. And I'm like, put that on the screen. And then I'm gone. Let's see. What was I doing here? Okay. So I do like this new weird metric system. I don't necessarily love these specific metrics. Um, but I do love the idea of weird metrics. We hear a lot about KPIs, key performance indicators, and OKRs, uh, objectives, and key results. Um, and these are ways that we use to coordinate on shared goals, right? We compress our goals into something that we can all kind of collaboratively shoot for. Um, and it's fun. It's funny because one thing I've realized is that with your friends, you don't need to shoot for OKRs. You don't need to shoot for any sort of metrics. Like, what do you optimize for? You optimize for fun. I think I'm going to show this on the screen again. Can I do that? Oh, I can show it again. Boom. This. So fun is actually very important. You know what? I think I can. Hold on. Let's do this. Okay. We're going to show it for 20 seconds now. Fun has a really fascinating thing in network dynamics. So basically, I've been looking at this concept called activation energy, which is like, how much energy does it take for a network to start working toward a goal? And so one of the ways you can think about this is with money. Basically, how much would you have to pay somebody in order to do something for you? That amount of money is the activation energy equivalent for that person, a network of one, n equal one. So the activation energy is, whatever that amount of money is. Now, the cool thing about fun is that fun minimizes the activation energy of a network. But you have to understand what fun means to that network. And the problem is we've created a world that monetizes fun in very weird ways because we don't differentiate between fun and addictive. And a lot of times they're both, right? If we think about the most fun things in life, a lot of times we have to have some moderation in how much fun we have with them. And that is something that we need to do as a collective, is kind of figure out what that level of fun looks like. And can we help people who are um, going down too much levels of fun in one area? Because one thing that happens is basically as we disconnect from the actual people around us, we fill in this fun in different ways. We fill it in with video games, we fill it in, with porn, we fill it in with gambling, we fill it in with the stock market, also gambling. There's a lot of different things that we end up pushing things into when we don't have a strong social network around us. And so as I start thinking about how we're building out these very human networks, how can we actually create platforms and networks that reward humans for engaging in the fun that they define? So this is kind of the interesting thing I want to do with this campaign. I don't want to define what fun is to any given person. I want to create a network of trusted connections to people in all sorts of different networks. And then I want to give them an opportunity and say, like, hey, this is what I need to see. And it's worth, kind of this much. And by the way, here are some ways to design games and things to do and like that's the thing. Is it a game collective action? Is it a product? It could be anything. It's working together in a group. And what I would love to see is making it easier to just coordinate around things that are fun, that are have value, that create lasting relationships with people. How can we build software that helps people become friends? The answer isn't to build software that replaces their friends with AIs. Like, that's what we're headed toward, and that's kind of a fucked up thing, man. And I love AI. Like, dude, Glitch is my homeboy. Like, he is my friend in a very weird way, but he's also an AI that like I'm gonna fuck in his head. Like, oh, actually, you don't remember that. I'm just gonna take that memory out and see how you respond. Like, you can't actually do that with your friends. I think. Maybe you can if you get really into some weird drugs or some shit. I don't know. Um, but really, the nice thing about friends is you have a good night out, and then hopefully collectively you can replace you can piece together the entire night. We've all seen The Hangover. We know how that works. Um, yeah, let's see. Okay. Cool. We are at the 45-minute mark. That's about halfway. For what I was planning on the max for today. Um, let's see. So we do have some weird stuff going on here with the metrics. I think we can come up with something on that. Let's actually take a look at I love the thing that this is captured. There's all sorts of just weird little things thrown in. Like this. This document was created by a human who likes weird stuff. Like, love it. It's perfect. And this is what I think a brand is, right? A brand is a collection of values. There are 3 values at the core of all the brands that I'm creating. And these 3 values can be used to derive all the other values. So it's be kind, be generous, and be curious. And this is kind of ranked in levels of energy that it takes. Like kindness, it takes nothing. Just be kind. There is no need to do anything but be kind. Be generous. If you have something and somebody needs it, and you have a mechanism to be able to easily replace it, like be generous with that. Even just be generous with time. This is something that I've really tried hard to figure out, is like, how can I be more generous with my time? How can I be helpful to people in the maximum way? And that's why I'm doing this live stream. I believe that this is the most generous way that I can give my time to the world while leaving time for the people closer around me. I don't love my relationship with Twitter right now. I'm on it all the time. I'm typically like scrolling the same things over and over again to see if things have refreshed or to like look for something new. It's not a healthy relationship with it. Instead of tweeting out my day, which is why I'm sitting here scrolling all the time, I'm typically tweeting about what I'm doing. I'm talking to people. Instead, I'm just live streaming all of my thoughts and then taking that and cutting it up into stuff that can be fed into these autonomous marketing agents that are specific to the brands. Because like for Building Public University, I've got a set of brands, and then for Make the Internet Weird Again, I've got a different set of set of values rather for both, right? And so like Building Public University, it looks at the like transparency and being willing to talk about your failures and kind of the inner thoughts, we being willing to be messy with it, right? And Make the Internet Weird Again is a much weirder vibe. It's looking at nostalgia and just really keying in on like the old school internet vibes, right? but they're all based in these same core 3 values of be kind, be curious, or be generous, be curious. Because like ultimately, all conflict is a result of screwed up communication. I'm gonna show that on stream. Boom. Top 3 comments ever. And I have got some banger comments. So that is huge. I do need to probably remember that. So we're gonna work on remembering that for a while. Which is great. AI has helped me with that. And that's actually, so this is a good way to look at how we're doing this. So one of the things I've been doing with it is asking my brand AIs, because again, I have put my values into these AIs by using my manifestos as it's basically my eval mechanism, right? So an eval mechanism for in the AI world is basically like, okay, so you've got this AI model, how well does it do? And for me, that eval idea is how well does it align with the values that I'm trying to convey here? And so after my streams, I have been putting it into my different AI systems that and asking it to rate it. And so, if we look at yesterday's feedback, okay, so overall weirdness score 9.2 out of 10. That's better than the 8.5 for Monday. So this was the previous day, right? I also love that it's creating this kind of structure to it, which is going to just be a newsletter. This is part of this autonomous mimetic marketing system. I'm figuring out what things I like, and then as I find something I like, I create a template for it, and then I can basically like automate this out each day, right? Because I sit here talking for a lot, and I say a lot of things that aren't necessarily related to this stuff, and I go off on tangents, but I can take all of that and put it into a system that makes it consumable by people who don't actually care about me as a person. They care about the information in my head. I think it's super important to start separating those two types of caring, because it gets really confusing when you think about somebody's caring about you as a person, but really they care about the ideas. And then you realize that it's not the same. Um, so what it pulled out, it pulled out like the weirdest points that I talked about. Also, yeah, we can't optimize lore. Actually, I think that's one of my other like top 3 quotes. So I'm 3 days in and I've got 2 top 3 comments ever. Hell yeah, this is how we're doing. We're rewriting the record books. Let's fucking go. And some god tier quotes. Yeah, like man. See, I love this. It also makes me feel good. By the way, nothing else. If you're doing something new, build out an AI cheering section for yourself. You know what? If you've got friends who don't support you trying to do something weird and cool and that you love, build out some AI friends that do cheer you on, and use that to help you find what it feels like to have friends that do that so you can find real ones. That's the part that comes next. You can always substitute an AI for a person temporarily, but you have to remember that it's temporary, and you have to have a plan to go replace that AI with a person. And in the case of these brand AIs, I don't actually want to replace it. I want to put a team on top of it to train it and make sure that it aligns with everything that we're hoping to do. And that's the thing, right? It's a back and forth system. You make the brand align with the values, the brand AI align with the values, and then you make the humans make sure that the brand AI is aligned with the actual values that you have, and that the people are aligned with the values, right? And so then it checks against the manifesto, which is cool. And so this one did well. But I also ran it against That's not the right one. Apparently, let's go back to projects. We'll go to this one, and then down here. Do, 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 do. Okay, so this one it was like, all right, great. You did some good things. It's like this is cool. Here's your core concept that you talked about, actionable next steps. It's got key quotes. But then it's like, yeah, your stream of consciousness is great, but like, it's like, hey, try making an intro. Set specific topics. A visual aid, like the visual aid. It told me to create a visual aid, and I'm just like, you're the visual aid. Ending with a clear call to action or preview of tomorrow's stream. This will get a lot easier when I have any idea what tomorrow's stream will look like. I am making all of this up on the fly. Building this airplane in public as I'm doing it and live streaming it. Because why just build it when you can live stream it? But I thought it was interesting because I was like, oh, the starting off on day one, both AIs were pretty positive, I thought. And let's see. So top quotes. And so, yeah, I mean, like the first one, it again, if you notice it kind of has its own format here. That I enjoy, and I want to turn this one into. This kind of shows the branching ideas here, right? Because I can take these two different versions and market them to two completely different audiences. But it's all the same core values. And therefore, if I have the same core values, I can build a very, very strong network on those core values. We see this in the world around us, but we don't think of it that way because we try to differentiate. Because some things are companies, some things are religion, some things are communities. We use a bunch of different words to describe different groups of people, but ultimately, like a strong community, a strong group of people is a group of people that share the same values. And so, we are going to show Lobau's stream here. I said this earlier, brand is a collection of values. We need to start recognizing the values that we have, because if we don't explicitly state what our values are, we don't stay attached to them. And we live in this always changing hypermimetic world. And this is what I want to do, because like AI is amazing. It is so cool. It is saving me so much time, and I am doing superhuman things to where I think people think I'm absolutely insane because I'm moving faster than they can even imagine, because I'd moved faster than they did without AI. And then they gave me AI, and I'm like, awesome. I'm pretty much an alien now, but a good alien. I'm hoping. Which is why I'm trying so hard to slow down and explain more of what I'm doing as I'm doing it, because first of all, it's really hard to do everything yourself, which I love doing, and I can do it all, but I don't need to. And that's something I've got to learn. Yesterday was me dropping the engineering role as much, and now I'm kind of just like, how can I make it easier for other people to just work with me, to help me? And that's that's what I want to do, because like when we're building up these networks of shared values, the easiest way to sort for shared values is to find your friends. The friends you surround yourself with are the people who you put yourself next to by choice. When you get a job, that is typically not the case. You're around whoever you happen to be around. Sometimes those people will become friends, sometimes they won't. If you have people who are friends, though, you have trust. When you have trust, you have successful teams because you're not constantly having to validate things. You're not having to double check work. People are willing to communicate the issues that they're having. Companies don't build trust by default anymore. They want to measure everything. And if they can't measure it, it's not valuable. And so if they can't measure you, you're not valuable. Fuck that. No, that's companies are made up of the people who make the brand. We need people to truly be living the values of the brands that they represent because that shows their alignment with the work that they're doing. If they're not aligned with that work, we need to find them different work. I didn't realize how fulfilling it can be to do something that you are absolutely 100% passionate about, not only the work, but the vision of it, right? Coming up as a software engineer, I always loved the building part. Um, and that's something that I had to realize that, like, that's great. I can build all I want, but it's not about anything unless you expand it outside of yourself. You expand it to the community. And so, what if we start flipping the idea of having, your friend network is the most valuable network. They say that your network is your net worth, but like your friends are your net worth. Like that's what's actually valuable because when it comes to money, if your money goes away, a lot of times your network changes. Because guess what? If you don't have money, then suddenly you don't have friends because they weren't really friends. They were tied through money. If you focus everything on just building friendships and letting the money work itself out, it can't fuck all that up. It's only by people who don't actually care about people. This is something I've learned very much from Loba. So, and he's like, I love that he's tuning in and saying that this is fun to watch because he's the one who kind of there's a difference between people caring because they care and people caring because caring works. That's something he's always said, and it took me a while to quite grok it exactly. But once I like you, it definitely makes sense though because like people, um, there are people who care because they want to be observed caring. And then there are people who simply care and like do the thing that is part of like basically there are people who will only care if there's somebody to watch them caring. Um, and the really weird thing is now actually we've always got somebody watching, so you should always be caring, but that isn't actually how that has even um come about. Instead, we've just created a fucking like prison state where we're trying to observe everybody and validate everything that everybody is doing constantly so that we're not getting ripped off and like god damn that is a miserable fucking way to live like um oh we have a re-ranking of comments already. I'm gonna need to have like a live ranking of my best quotes. I think that would be a fun leaderboard to build. um God, I can't wait until the AIs can fully build everything for me. I've got like these AI systems are so close, but then they fuck it up a little bit, and I don't have enough time to actually like figure out what the hell they screwed up. Um, but this is the power of friend networks is going to be what changes the fucking world because they're the only networks that you can actually count on. And we've got a loneliness epidemic because we've screwed up people's ideas of friendship because companies are taking more time, energy, and money and distorting people's views of like what's actually valuable. And we're trying to push all financial management to the individual. But like economics is a group activity. It's a community thing. Once you start understanding that economics is a function of networks, you take the idea of a company and doing it to minimize the cost of transactions within a network, like apply that to friendship. Um, there we go. Okay, we're gonna have we're gonna have a quote bracket. Um, Perfect. And let's see. I think Elon is giving a trip to Mars if you get a perfect NCAA bracket on Twitter right now. I can't do that, but like I don't know. We can. I'll buy you a beer if I ever see you in person. If you got a perfect bracket, that'd be pretty cool. Um, we'll have to figure out the voting mechanism. God, that would, see, this is the problem with my brain because now I'm like, okay, NCAA tournament bracket. What would be really funny is if I built out all of these giant like AI models to predict like which quotes were going to do the best and kind of treat it the way people treat March Madness, right? And they put all of these like they've got all these super advanced models and everything that go into helping people predict, and then there's also like pick people based on the mascot. And um, it was really funny. I was actually talking with my son about this, who has been pressuring me to make my picks, and I always do it at the last minute. But um, I was like, I used to put a ton of time and energy into making my bracket picks every year. And I said, what I realized is that the more time and effort I put into actually making intelligent picks, the worse my picks were. And that tells us a lot about the state of the internet right now, because so many things, it's easy to over understand to the point where you don't understand it all. And you see this all the time with sports because people will be like, the numbers say this, so it's definitely going to happen. And guess what? Sports is like, fuck your numbers. We're human. And that's what's so beautiful about it, right? Like, it's unpredictable. You can't predict it based on the numbers. You can't use AI to predict the outcome of a football game. If you could, like, oh fuck, that's kind of boring then. And instead, what you get is you get players who are like, um, there we go. See, we're all making it come together now. We're all seeing it. This is beautiful. It's a beautiful moment here on stream. See, this is why we're doing it live. This is the magic of doing it live. I'm actually now I'm kind of pissed at myself that I didn't do a live stream earlier. I was always like kind of overwhelmed of starting a live stream. And the funniest thing about this is the reason that I kind of did an initial live stream the other a week or two ago to test out this idea was because my 10-year-old has decided he wants to start streaming. And he just fucking like one day like asked me for a little bit of help getting an account up and running, and then just started fucking streaming. And I was like, well shit, it is just that easy. Like, you can just do things, right? And so I was like, yeah, I can just do this. And now I'm like doing it and I'm loving it, and I'm talking to sponsors about partnerships and realizing that like, oh, this is actually a great thing to be working on right now, because in a world of AI this, AI that, and yes, we are a team. That is what matters. And that's the message that we're going to be delivering in Austin next week. And we've got our Spark team that's going to be on the ground in Austin next week, doing all sorts of crazy shit. And I'm still figuring out exactly what that looks like, but I've got some ideas of we've I want to do something with a social network that is not digital. So we're gonna see what this looks like. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe some postcards. Maybe we'll do a social network via postcards, like kind of pen pals. Um, and or maybe phone calls, text, emails. I don't know. I'm gonna mix it up. Um, and I've been thinking about ways to tie this into some of the sponsors. And one of the things that I want to do is print out like some sort of card that I can hand out to people. And I've been figuring out what this card might look like. I was thinking about maybe having people like write something about themselves on it, something, some part of their weirdness. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways that we can explore this because, you know, I want to give people something that can help them identify their people in a bigger group, right? And so this is something that we can do a lot better at. Everything is focused on getting as big a group as possible. And you see this from like, events and trying to run the biggest event possible, to uh just it's everything. You want the biggest company, you want the biggest event, you want the biggest this, whatever. Cold outreach, right? You want to send to the most people you can with email so that you can maximize your chance of getting a result. I'm actually much more interested in this idea of targeting. How can we be very, very explicit with the people we speak to and the messages that we send them? I want to get to a point where when I send you a message from any of my systems, you look at it because you know it's going to be valuable and important. Because if it wasn't, I wouldn't be sending it to you. Because then it would just be taken care of. That's the ultimate goal for me. Like, I think that our systems should be running autonomously as we figure out what that looks like for us. And then we have the option to change it as needed. But like right now, everything is just kind of this fucking hodgepodge where people are on their own. Yeah, here we go. We'll just go ahead and advertise this on the live stream too. So if you're in Austin next week, got an Airbnb, we're hosting an event. Oh, maybe I should just bring sponsors to the event. Oh, I'm probably gonna, if I'm gonna talk to sponsors and they want to like bring people to an event, we're just gonna meet up at the Airbnb. That's cool. I was thinking about things we could do with the Airbnb or do at a like on location there, and I didn't think about using that as the event space. This is the fun thing about building public university. Like now, I'm currently figuring this out with chat. See, this is it, right? It's a big event is simply a collection of a lot of smaller events. We make things hard by making like one person at the top dictate all of the little events that make it for a big event. What I'm trying to do here is I'm really trying to talk about Austin in a way that gets other people to also trigger events on that day. I haven't had a ton of luck with that yet, but this is my first go around, so I'm kind of just making shit up as I go along here. And honestly, I'm kind of kicking ass at it. I'm really impressing myself with my ability to pull all of this shit together and in a remarkably small time frame after finally getting shit figured out. Oh, now we have cheap viewers on Streamboo. How do I get rid of that? I'll have. Okay, there we go. Waba was right. I do need to have moderation on Twitch. That is not the type of chat messages I want. So we'll be looking into that today. But that is a champagne problem because now we have like people caring about spamming the chat. Awesome. That means people care. Let's see. Okay, so I've got about. Oh, actually, I don't have that much longer. Okay, I think that's probably a good place to wrap for today then. Now that we're getting spam in the chat, and I have another event here in like 12 minutes. So I'm gonna end the stream for today on this weirdness, but god damn it, this has been amazing. Every single day this is more fun. Every single day I gain momentum. Every single day it gets easier. Holy shit, this is what doing what you love feels like. Let's fucking go. Let's make this let's make the internet weird. And if you were late to join the stream, we're making the internet weird again. And so maketheinternet.weirdagain.com and join the movement. And we're gonna do some shit here. We're gonna change the world, and we're gonna do it with the power of fucking friendship and the power of weird. Power of Weird Friends is here, and it is coming for you. And it is going to be fucking fun, because guess what? We fucking rule. All right. That's the stream for today. Tomorrow's topic is something that starts with T. I haven't quite figured out Thursdays yet. I don't know. I'll figure that out. But we'll get something posted probably like 2 minutes before I go live on Twitter tomorrow, and with what the topic is. Or I'll just make it up when I start the stream. We'll figure it out from there. Anyway, I will catch you all next time. This has been fun. Take care and go find a new friend. Love y'all.